Let's get started. We're going to go with the same format as we did with the mayors, but this time each candidate will have a minute to answer. And the reason for that is that there are 12 candidates, so I'm trying to get you guys home before midnight. Before we get started, I need to say a special thanks to Tiger Lily for the beautiful flowers up here and for all the hard work of the city of letting us use the auditorium. Okay, I'm going to introduce your candidates. From left to right is Brian Bain, Jimmy Ballinger, Lynn Locklear Brewer, Tim Dobson, Johnny Everhart, Wendy Freeman, Randall Hound, Wade Hill, Roger Engel, Freddie Johnson, Robert Harris, and Gerald Red Taylor. Let's give these guys a hand. And ladies. Okay. First question. I'll let Mr. Brian Bain start, and if you will, when you finish, just pass the mic down. What are the three most important issues in the city of Fort Payne?
I'm going to say that the three most important things or most important issues that I see as a citizen are, number one, tourism, not in any certain order, but number one, tourism and Main Street. Tourism is a big industry in DeKalb County, and for Fort Payne, it brings in lots of dollars for Fort Payne. I think we need to do what we can for tourism. Number two, I think job recruitment, trying to increase our retail businesses and also our industry, getting jobs for Fort Payne people. I think that's a big issue. Also, I think our education system is a big issue. We have a great education system, and I think we as the city need to do what we can for our education system, for our teachers. And all these three things working together, I think, will bring growth to our city.
Thank you.
I think that my name is Jimmy Ballinger, and I guess the three most things probably to me would be the downtown Fort Payne. There are a lot of roads and the sidewalks are not very even level, I guess. So a lot of the handicap can't get from road across. So I think maybe something could be done there and making it more presentable to tourism people to come see the city, maybe even, like Bedingfield said, to bring people to look for job recruitment, to make the city look better. And then I also think to really clean up the city as a whole, everywhere in the communities, for the condemned houses and different stuff that's bad. And also for number three would be, I would agree with Brian on tourism is the main thing. So I really think we should focus on that as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lynn Brewer. I tend to agree with these guys, so sorry, but I really do think that one of the most important things for us to do is to create paychecks for people. And we can do that through economic development. That affects us in so many ways, I think. Not only large industries, but a lot of the studies now are saying that cities need to look to small businesses and creating those small businesses. I think we saw with the sock industry how putting kind of all our eggs in one basket, what that did to us as a community, and we need to really diversify and keep ourselves out of that kind of situation again. And another thing that I think is really important is just, and this has to do with our way of life, and it's the way of life for everyone, and that is our downtown. Industries will not come to our city, or if our way of life downtown is not in good shape. If we don't offer the people that want to come something to do. And along with that is I'm a big supporter of tourism. And again, if our downtown isn't well, looking good, then we can't.
Let the microphone go.
Thank you, Neil. I'm Tim Dobson. One of the main things that I see in the city of Fort Payne is not just tourism, but also the jobs. It's kind of like a fork in the road. Which side do you take? Do you push for tourism? Do you push for jobs? And I think it's up to the council to sit down and actually work together, not only to bring people into town with tourism, to bring money into our community, but also jobs to help our people in our community who have lost jobs and with the employment rate. And I know it's really hard with the economy the way it is. So that's the main two things I would like to see is the job situation and the tourism, because we have to live in a beautiful area where we can see a lot of things that we have just as much as what Gatlinburg and everything else has. That why could we, not have the attractions and everything else that would bring people into our area? The third thing that I would really like to work about is the streets. There's so many potholes and everything else, and I know as far as budget, money-wise, but I would like to see a lot of the streets being taken care of, being paved. There's a lot. I ride a motorcycle a lot, and many times I have to dodge potholes. And so, therefore, I'd like to see a lot of things in the maintenance of the city being kept up to the best possible.
I believe we've got to continue to try to bring in new jobs through new businesses. Everybody wants to go after the big companies. I believe that the small companies that we bring in, they're a lot easier to get, don't cost us much money, and I think that's one thing to do. And new businesses downtown, we're beginning to see a lot of that. As far as the roads, I'm going to go back to what Tim said here. Lots of people don't realize that some of these roads are not ours. Some of them are federal highways, state highways, county roads, and that type of thing. So we don't have any control over those. Just have to talk to them and see if they can fix it. Tourism is a industry in itself, and I think we need to tap in on it. It's doubled in the last just few years, and it's here, and we've got the natural beauty and everything. People have been coming here for years, but we need to stop them in Fort Payne and let them shop and that type of thing. Thank you.
I believe one of the most important things in our city is our relationship between the council and each department, whether it's the police department or the street department. We need to make sure that we have good relationships and each need be met in each department. Each councilman work wherever they can to make sure those needs are met. I also believe in tourism being our biggest revenue. Therefore, if we do advertise more, we can keep the revenue up and our taxes down. We need more jobs on the north end of town where our hosiery mills are. If we cannot bring the hosiery mills back, we need to put some kind of industries in there. We need more jobs. I believe that our city is one of the most beautiful cities in Fort Payne. We have good school systems. I believe that if we bring more people in, more people are going to come here to live. I think that we need to keep relationships between the school and the councilmen and our departments.
I'm Randall Ham. I think one of the most important issues, one of the most important things we need to look at is our city's budget. If we don't remain financially strong, if we don't continue financial responsibility the way we have been, none of these other things are going to come to pass. Because if we're not strong, no one's going to come to a weak city. So I think budget is a very important thing. Tourism, absolutely, tourism is a tremendous industry for us, and we have made some big gains over the last couple of years in tourism and bringing people into Fort Payne, making Fort Payne a destination. And that's our goal, not for Fort Payne to be a pass-through on the way to another place, but when people leave their homes, Fort Payne is where they're headed. Industrial recruitment, I agree with Johnny, we've been real successful with the smaller companies, the 10 to 50, 40 jobs, whatever, and you don't have to give away the farm to get those. They require very little in the way of tax abatements. They can go into existing buildings, and they normally pay some pretty good wages. So I think those are the three things that are most important right now.
I'm Wade Deal. One of the things that we've got to address sooner than later, I believe, is a threefold deal. We've got to do something about our traffic downtown. We've got to address our infrastructure problems. And then we're going to tie that all together with Main Street, which to me goes from wide to wide. Everybody's consolidating their interest right now to downtown, being the 5-6 blocks downtown. I think we've got to make everybody understand that Main Street, Fort Payne is wide to wide. We've got to expand that out and get everybody involved there. If we increase our tourism to the point that we draw in the young professionals from outside of our area, people are doing good jobs in Chattanooga, but they're coming out of Chattanooga to play on the weekends. They like to climb rocks and they like to ride bicycles and kayak, and we got the best place in the world to do that. So we need to draw upon the young professionals from Madison County, Chattanooga and the surrounding areas to come to DeKalb County and Fort Payne to spend their weekends and their money and then go back home and work. That's good, clean tax revenue. And that's going to take care of itself as far as taxes.
Roger Engel, I am going to start out by saying most of my things that I think are most important come from the people I've been speaking with over the last couple of weeks. Economic growth and jobs. You know, the sock capital of the world is now in Honduras. It's not in Fort Payne anymore. And people are looking for things to replace that. And we have to bring new industry and new jobs to Fort Payne. Love to see our college-educated kids get to come back home. And more of them nowadays are expressing that desire to me to come back to Fort Payne. And that's changed from how it's been in the years prior. Next is tourism, which kind of ties into economic growth. The Main Street project, I think, is excellent. Let's develop it. And as the movie slogan was, build it and they will come. And I believe that's true once we get our downtown thriving again. And as Wade said, downtown is not all of Fort Payne. There is other areas that we have to concentrate. Education, we're in competition with other places throughout the state. Mr. Cunningham has done a great job here. We cannot let up on our education for our students. And finally, animal control was the other thing mentioned in a tie with education, and the main thing to mention were chickens. And I invoked FDR and said, I'll put a chicken in every pot.
Freddie Johnson here. I don't have a lot of words. I'm not a politician. I like business, and I would like to see young people more involved in this. And the thing where it used to be for the people, by the people, for the people, and those things, that's political. And I would like to change it to business by the people, for the people. And there, a lot of stuff that's already been said is I can't add to, and that's all important. The basic professional business operation, I like that. Like I said, I'm not a good politician. I like doing, not talking. We got people in Congress that's doing a lot of talking, and I'm not sure how that's going to go for us. So to talk about any of this very much, I need to know more about what's going on and what the issues are. And I'm more of a doer. I'm not a very good talker, but I enjoy doing. Thank you.
My name is Robert Paris, and these guys got all my answers. Of course, tourism would be great, more people coming in. But you got to have the industries to have more people coming in to work. I think we need I don't think we've got enough city activities. The third Saturday for the cars are good show. And Boom Days is just killer. It's just got great every year. And we need to bring in more, I won't say bands or acts, but more people that will help us bring more people into Fort Payne, where they'll spend their money here. When the money gets here, guys, we want it to stay here, don't we? Jobs, for small businesses, more small businesses we get, that's more people, little people that will still work and keep working. And the big ones, though, you like the mayor said, you got to get out there and dig for it.
Red Taylor, I agree with what's already been said. Tourism is one of the biggest issues. It's not really an issue. It's one of the best things going on in Fort Payne and DeKalb County. One of the problem issues we have is as many years as I have of being involved in it, that's a constant battle this day and time. And all the other things, the job, yes, we need job growth. But we're working on job growth. We have had some success in getting jobs in here. We need more, but we need to continue what we've already been doing there.
Thank you. Second question, I'm gonna let Ms. Lynn start.
Give me the microphone back.
Yes, you have my microphone. You just have to give it away when you're done. If you saw a fellow council member breaking ethics violations, how would you handle the situation?
Well, I think the most important thing would be to stop them. I mean, if you could do it, you know, in a nice, professional way, and confront them and just say, you know, did you realize that you were committing an ethics violation? And then I would just say, because it's wrong, I would say, I think we need to talk to Andy Parker or the mayor and see, you know, how we need to go forward with this, because right is right, wrong is wrong, and I don't think it can go without being reported.
Tim?
In my opinion, of course, it depends what the violation was, if it was knowingly, willingly, or if it was accidental, and if something could be reversed. I mean, if it was something that was done, it couldn't be reversed or whatever, naturally you'd have to report something like this. But I think the first action would be was to sit down and talk with this person, find out what they did, their reason behind it, and why it was done. And then, you know, if it was done intentionally, let them come forward and say, hey, look, this is what I did, it was wrong, it needs to be corrected, and what will it take and the actions to be corrected. I think it should not go unnoticed or anything. If it was something that was done not intentionally or whatever, and it could be corrected, I think just basically sitting down, talking with the council members, talking with the other members and everything else to see what we could do to rectify the situation before it ever got out of control. Because one of the best things to do is prevention. It's prevent things from happening, but as things are going to happen, and there are going to be situations where there's going to be unpopular decisions, unpopular things done, and some things are going to be done unknowingly and not meaning to be. So I think that'd be one of the best things to do is sit down and talk with this person and find out a lot of the reasons why and whatever actions it takes to correct it.
I believe what I would do is just confront them and tell them, you know, explain why this is not to be going on, see how their reaction is and that type of thing. And you may have to get the rest of the council and the mayor there, and then you figure out what course of action, you know. Unlike Tim, you know, some people may not know that this might be an ethics violation. Kind of like the private property thing that Mary Chester said earlier. If we tear up somebody's driveway, we need to fix it. Thank you.
First of all, I would speak with the person, confront the person, and find out exactly what the situation is. I think we should pray about it, decide what we do need to do about it, and try to figure out, would it be best in finding out why they did it and exactly what we need to go about doing it. I think it does need to be told and leave it up to the council to handle the situation. But first I would like to speak with the person and find out exactly what their reason would be, because just like tearing up someone's yard and fixing it, you know, that's not a reason to be taken before the board and ridiculed. So I would like to, you know, pray with the person, find out exactly how they feel about what they've done before I decide exactly what decision needed to be made before the council.
Scripture tells us that if we see our brother in sin, we go to our brother and we confront him with it. And I think, you know, that tells us exactly what we should do. Exactly, you should go to him, you should inform him that he's in violation of something like that. You need to find out what his thought process was. And I think one important thing is we need to educate to make sure that mistake's not made again. At that point, it would need to go to City Hall and possibly even to the city attorney for an opinion on how we should handle it. So it's not a real difficult process, but it's one that has to be followed. Again, sometimes things are unintentional, and some things get done without knowledge, so I think education is a big part of it. Thank you.
I agree with Randall. The biggest thing you come into contact with in the law is the intent. If a person has done something accidentally or unknowingly, you deal with that one way. If somebody's intentionally going out here breaking the law or violating this law, you basically have to handle it a little bit different way. But the key to this is, number one, educate people on exactly what is allowed and what's not. If you find that person is knowingly doing that, I would give them the opportunity to self-report, and if they didn't, I would help them report. But it's just that simple, and I would expect no less for myself.
First, I would approach the person and find out if this was a deliberate act. If not, things can be worked out with discussion among people, city council members, city lawyers, or whatever. If I did find out it was intentional, I do believe I'd be bound by my oath as a city councilman at that point to turn them in. Simple.
I think it gets back to, again, a lot of words, and that's not getting anything done. I think if you're in that position, you should know better than to violate that. That may be a little bit tough, but yeah, I would turn them in, or I think depending on how bad it was. But again, I think you should know better. I don't know if you're telling them after the fact that they shouldn't have done it. I think they probably knew they would know before. Maybe they did it. It was not right. So bust them or whatever. I guess that may be a little bit cruel. But if you set a standard that maybe we don't, maybe it's going to hurt a little bit in the beginning. But if you set a standard that we don't do that, maybe that'll work. Maybe that's a good new way. Who knows? Thank you.
Well, like Mayor Chester said, the Fred Purdy days are over with, of course. And this is a real good question here. The ethics violations is your councilman and the mayor have got to stay on board with everyone, and I guess stay tight-knit, and they organize and would be within their department to make sure everything would be going okay on this. But if something's wrong, if there's a reason, there's always a reason for that to be going on.
But someone briefly touched on the topic, I think, just a minute ago, education. The League of Municipalities has training every 4 years for newly elected councilmen and mayors. Everyone needs to attend the training, and they will spell out what you can and cannot do. And part of it is the ethics violations. And I'll agree that, you know, if a person is intentionally violating the law, you go to them because you assume that they've been to the class and they know better. And if it's a serious violation done with intent, then I would proceed to talk with the city attorney and would go from there and report it.
Along with everyone else, I would definitely go to that council member first, talk to them, and then I would seek advice from the city attorney. I think that's why we put those people in place. They're there to lead us and to guide us, and I would hope that if I unknowingly did a ethics violation, that a council member would come and confront me.
Well, I guess you can only answer a question 12 times now. So, I mean, I agree with every one of them. I would approach the person who did it and kind of see the reason behind why they did it. Not just to give them a break or anything, but of course everybody should know what you're doing is right or wrong. But there's always two sides to a story, and being educated on the situation is definitely a key point that we need to do. But maybe they may not have made it to a class or something, so if it's not that, you know, go up to them, talk to them, see how it is, and then talk to the proper people afterwards. to maybe see what kind of action needs to be taken, and then, go higher and higher from there, if it's really out of control and real bad. So that's kind of what I think should do.
Thank you. I know with 12 people, we're gonna get a lot of repetitive answers, but I didn't feel that it was fair to ask one a hard one and next guy get an easy one, so they all get the same one. Okay, third question. Johnny, I'm gonna let you start. You're welcome. Increasing our sales tax was a major topic last year. Would you be in favor of a sales tax increase if elected?
I'm not in favor of a sales tax increase, and I wasn't for, we've got to, the easiest thing in the world is to go up on taxes and that type of thing. I think what sets us apart is that we've been able to do lots of infrastructure work. We're sitting in a old school that we turned into a fine facility for City Hall. We've got a new fire hall. We bought 100 acres of industrial land. All this has been paid for without raising taxes. We've got a $400,000 surplus this year. We've got a lot of senior citizens that's on fixed income. Worked the hosier mill all their life. Draw $600-700 a month. They've got to buy their medicine, pay their light bill, water bill, all that. And I can't see it. If we get where we can't pay our bills, sure we'll look at it, but we're doing fine. Thank you.
I'm not for raising taxes. I believe that we have enough revenue in our beautiful city, DeSoto Falls, Little River Canyon, and the park, that as long as it has been increasing every year, bringing us in revenue. And I think if we advertise more and we keep these places up and running, then I believe that our revenue is just going to keep increasing as people become more aware of what we have here, and we can keep our taxes down due to that. I don't think that we're going to need to do, I don't think we're going to even have to face that decision. Thank you.
I don't think it's any secret that in last year's discussion, I was in favor of that sales tax, but not just to go to the general fund. I was only in favor of it with a plan. And that plan was to direct part of that money to education, to our school system, to get us to the level of support in our schools that we should be, the level of support that other communities around us already are at. I think we should be using a portion of it to reduce debt. Yeah, we've done all these things. We've picked up all these things and bought this property, but we've done it with borrowed money, and we paid interest on that money. Are we satisfied with where we are, or do we want to really move forward? And it takes money to move forward. If we've got to get money in our industrial recruitment account, we have approximately $25,000 in our industrial recruitment account. You can't bring any business in with $225,000. So we're going to have to find some more revenue somewhere. The budget is in great shape. We are in a surplus, but I don't think we're in a position where we can grow the way that the citizens of Fort Payne deserve.
So far as just openly increasing taxes, I'm not for that. I think if anything's going to be done, you've got to sit down and have a comprehensive plan. Just to raise taxes to say we're going to give more money to the schools is not something that's real popular with one group and very popular with another. Well, we're in a good shape here in Fort Payne financially right now. The previous administration has been very responsible with our money. We did have a little over $400,000 surplus this year. But if we sit down at some point in time as a mayor and council and get with the school board and the officials that make these decisions, and we determine that we've got to do something for the city of Fort Payne and the school system, I wouldn't have a bit of problem raising our sales tax a penny. That's going to generate a little over $2 million in revenue. But we're going to do that when it's necessary, not just because we can. I don't think it's necessary right now. But if it becomes necessary, and it would be after a lot of thought and discussion, then I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I want to see where all of it's going to go before we just jump out here and say, let's give the schools more money. They can use all the money they can get, but how are they going to use it? So I don't think it'd be irresponsible to just say raise taxes because we can.
Well, I wish I just recorded what you said and could play it back, because I pretty much disagree with everything Wade says. We can't arbitrarily raise taxes, but I agree with him about setting down. You know, sometimes things become necessary. Nobody even wants to hear that three-letter word, or tax anyway. Nobody wants to hear it. Sometimes things are necessary. Do I know now that they're necessary? I can't say I know that. But if I would become a member of the city council, I would think our group could determine that and make a wise decision. Maybe a referendum would be called for, I don't know. But if it's necessary, it's necessary, and I certainly personally would not be opposed if it is a necessity.
I am opposed. I think money can be generated other ways. Make us do our job for the ones that make it to the city council, and just throwing money at it won't fix it. There's other ways. Thank you.
No, I would not raise taxes on this. I would say for the industries that we have down here in Fort Payne, let's keep them going, keep them looking good, our small businesses. Of course, if you can work to get bigger industries in here, that means more jobs, of course, it's going to be more money. But like Wade said, the money is here, and if you don't have to go up on it, don't do it.
Well, it's no secret, I oppose the sales tax increase this year, and I continue to. I'm very proud of the fact that we have just gone through some real lean times. We lost a lot of jobs, the city lost a lot of revenue. We managed to come through these times without having to raise taxes, without having to lay anyone off. We did it by tightening our belt, by watching what was being spent, and now we have a reserve. Our revenue is coming back, and I can't right now foresee us raising the tax just for the sake of having going to 9 cents and bringing in $2 million extra. It would be nice, but I don't feel that it's necessary. And as long as our economy will continue to grow, people keep expanding and adding jobs, tourism keeps bringing money in, the revenue keeps increasing, I think we're fine.
I as well am opposed to raising taxes, simply because we have a lot of middle class, lower income families that this would put a burden on. However, I don't know the current financials of the city, so that's something that I could not say. That I would look at that at a later date and see where we stand. I feel like with a little over $400,000 surplus, there is a good chance that we would not have to look at raising taxes.
I can't say that I'm for it or against it, more or less, because I haven't been in there and working alongside the council now to see if we do or don't need it. I just look at a budget on a piece of paper that I was gave whenever I signed up. So I think that if we really look at it and work together as a team to determine whether it's needed or not needed, and the evidence is there to say yes or no, then I could go either way on it. It would just have to really be something we needed for me to say yes to raise taxes. But if it's something that was that great and we really needed it that bad, then, I would be for raising. But it just has to really depend on the situation. So with me not being in there or knowing what's going on, I can't really tell you the situation to whether or not I'm yes or no.
I agree with most of the group here. I am not for a sales tax increase. I don't feel that it's needed at this time. If I were to get into office and see that it was needed and that I could justify it to you, the citizens, and have a good heart about it and be able to justify it, I wouldn't have a problem with increasing sales tax. But at this time, I agree with the money that we had left over for this year, and I think that we're doing a good job at increasing the businesses downtown. We're doing a good job at, increasing tourism. If we do those things, it's going to increase our tax revenue without having to increase sales tax, and that's what I think.
One thing I want to say, I'm proud of our current council right now and how well they've managed our money and everything else as far as the sales tax and everything. This is one of those unpopular decisions that the council has to sit down and look at and everything, and I think a lot of it has to do with budgeting and looking at what's going on. I know I'm against it, I'm totally against it, but if there was a particular reason, a certain thing, what we have to raise it, why not do a rescinding to sales tax? If we had to have X amount of dollars for a particular project, we had to raise the sales tax 1 penny. After the project's done, reduce it a penny. Some way, instead of just keep leaving it there and then let it keep adding on for years and years to come. But as far as sales tax, no, I'm totally against it. I think there are other ways, as everybody has said, it's by the tourism industry and everything else, increasing our revenue, also increase our sales tax and budgeting and not wasting the money. I think that's one of the best ways of being able to be able to get by having to do anything like that. But it is an unpopular decision that a lot of councils have to do.
Thank you. Fourth question, I'll let Randall start. Now I want to say this question was submitted more times than any other question that I've asked. With many of our surrounding cities now offering Sunday alcohol sales, what are your thoughts about Fort Payne selling on Sunday? Note that 75% of all tax revenue from alcohol goes to the schools.
Thank you. I'm not in favor of that. I'm just not. And I know revenue is a big thing, but how important is revenue? It's part of the charm and part of what has made Fort Payne a great place and part of what makes it a tourist destination is that it's different. We don't try to be like every other city around us. We don't try to change who we are for money. Sunday's very special to me. It's a big part of my faith, and I think that if people want to drink on Sundays, then they need to plan for that on Saturdays. But Sunday is Sabbath, and I'm not in favor of that. I would not sell out for a few dollars.
I think one of the things that we need to remember is when the proposition was put before the people, in 2005 or so, whenever it was voted on, there were very strict parameters of what they were going to do. If you vote yes, this is how we're going to restrict and restrict and restrict. And it passed. And now we seem to be whittling away a little more and a little more and a little more on those restrictions. I'm not a teetotaler, I don't drink, but I don't condemn anybody that does. But I think if you can't get it done in 6 days, one more's not going to make a break. I don't think it'll be that big an increase either, because there are restaurants in Fort Payne that I know personally that people eat there on Sunday that won't eat there any other day because there's no alcohol that day. That's the one day they can eat there and not have to have somebody getting a drink from them. If you want to do that, fine. But I don't think that's going to make Fort Payne. It's definitely not going to break it. But, if I'm sitting on the council and 3 out of 5 vote for it, I'll go along with the majority, but I won't be making that motion.
If it was personally up to myself, it would be a definite no. I think you have to consider the feelings of the majority of the community and go by that. I know the vote didn't become wet at one point. It was very, very close. And again, personally, it would be fine with me if we never went with it. We did that, it's reality. You have to deal with the cards you're dealt. So again, personally, I would say no. Again, we'd have to see what, as Wade said, the feelings of the community as well as the feelings of the council. And we are sworn to uphold the feelings and desires of our constituents. And I feel you have to follow through that with that plan.
I think Wade aced it pretty good on that. The percentage of revenue that might make in one day surely is not that much, so I don't agree with selling it on Sunday. But it's back to if the people decide that, I think that door's open now. The alcohol door's been open, so you have to go along with what the people wanted, but I don't think one day and what they would bring in would be worth the total package that goes with that. So, thank you.
No, I would not vote for this at all. Sundays is Sundays, it's the Lord's Day. Randall knows this, everybody up here has talked about it. And the city of Fort Payne so far has done a good job, I think, distributing money when our activities in schools need it. But if it was to come to that decision, it should be like Freddie said, for the people to do this. And Wade made a good point. If you can't do it then, why you want to do it on Sunday?
I would be opposed to any Sunday alcohol sales. I would vote against it. However, if it was put to a referendum of the people and the people approved it, then I would try my best to live with it the best that I could. If that was the will of the people, then I don't think we'd have any other choice. But no, I'm personally opposed to it.
Along with everyone else, I am opposed personally to Sunday alcohol sales. I don't feel that the revenue generated would be enough to justify Sunday sales. However, I have been in retail business for 31 years, and I know the impact that it could make on the store. Is it that much? No. But I think in the original, when Fort Payne went wet, it was in the ordinance that there would be no Sunday alcohol sales. And I believe instead of placing that in 5 council members' lap to make that decision, that would need to be put up for a vote for the people, to let the people decide.
Well, I feel like that if I'm elected for council, that I would be, I guess, a voice for the people to argue the fact, for them when they can't be there. But if it was brought up and the majority says yes for alcohol on Sunday, then I would be for it. It wouldn't be necessarily for the revenue or the money. It would be for what people would want and want to do, because everybody, I've talked to a lot of people, and, if you go and sit in a restaurant and, eat, drink a little bit, have a glass of wine or whatever your preference is, then, I'd be for that, just because that's what everybody wants. That's what the people want to do. So I would be for that. Everybody has a different opinion, but I think it would be a good one for the people. I don't think a lot of bad stuff comes from it. So it just really all depends on which way everybody goes when you're down to the moment and the question's real.
This is an interesting topic for me because most of you know that I do own a restaurant that does sell alcohol. I purposely do not open on Sunday because that's my day of rest. I need a day. I hear a lot of different discussion about alcohol and whether it should be sold on Sunday or not. To me, if I was elected, I am a public servant. It is not up to me. It's not my opinion. It's the opinion of you, the citizens. And so I would be open to listen and hear any reason you're for or against it. And that's basically how I feel because I don't think it's opinion that's actually up to me personally.
I have to agree with Lynn on that one, and there's other issues that you have to look at. As we know, Applebee's is coming in here and they say, well, why can't we sell alcohol on Sunday or whatever? Me personally, no. I personally am totally against it, but I believe it should be up to the people, the citizens of Fort Payne, as a referendum to come up for a vote. If it was left up to us personally, I would have to say no. Like I said, if you can't, like what he said, you know, if you can't, you know, get what you need in 6 days, you know, 7 days not gonna make a difference. But I personally believe, in my personal conviction, everything is, I'm totally against it as far as alcohol sales on Sunday.
I think you gotta have open mind. You know, this is something, if the people want it, you know, I like Brian's idea of having it. If people want it, we got to do it just like we did when we went west. We worked real hard when we went west to try to make our town not look cheap. We didn't allow beer signs in the windows. We, you know, we did a lot of things, and I don't think anybody can actually say that they really just notice it. And I don't think it's hurt our town, to be honest with you. But I would be, you know, I'd be with open mind, whatever the people want.
I would not be for selling liquor on Sundays or any kind of beverage of alcohol. I think that it would hurt our tourism. I don't think that people that are coming here to our parks and our swimming holes and our restaurants or downtown would want to run into a drunk, would want to put up with perhaps drunk people, how they may act, and I just don't think that it would be a good thing for us on Sunday to have people in restaurants or in our parks or the canyon. I think it would be unsafe, and so I think we would be hurting our revenue of the tourism if we sold it on Sunday, because that's mainly where they go, and I don't think that they would want to see this or be putting up with any of this on Sunday.
Thank you. All right, this is the 5th question, and I'm going to let Roger start it. Explain what you feel the role of a council member should be. Should a council member act as a department head and micromanage daily operations, or only give guidance and leadership to department heads?
The role of a council member, as I see it, is to be a more or less a liaison between the public and the city council, the city government, and express the will of the people as you know it to be from your constituents. That's what you have to concentrate on mainly. The next part, should the council member act as a department head, micromanage? I definitely think not. And I worked in the city for the city for 35 years, and very seldom did I ever encounter that. You know, I don't think city council members want to direct departments, or they would probably try to get that job in the beginning. And personally, I just think you hire capable people to do their jobs. You let the department heads do their jobs, let the workers do their jobs, and you try to keep everything according to the will of the people.
Back to for the people, by the people, but not politics, business. My job, I think, would be to do whatever the majority of the people want. I like simple, quick things, not a lot of words. As far as micromanaging other folks, there's department heads for that, and if you've got a problem, I'm sure it's going to come before everybody sooner or later. Thank you.
I think as a council member, daily operations, of course, these guys, as far as I know, have done a good job, but it's a daily routine. You just can't ignore it, because a lot of people think that, well, there's only 2 meetings a month, and if you come to these meetings, you just hear that. But council members, as far as I know, they're out there every day doing their job, and like Roger said, let the manage, and the department heads take care of their departments, and just stay with the daily operations.
No, I do not feel that the city council's job is micromanage any department. As the way our form of government is set up, the mayor and the council, the mayor doesn't have a vote. But the mayor is also runs the daily operation of the city. He is the person in charge of all the daily operation. And then the councilmen are each assigned departments. They're on a committee, oversee a department. but it is an advisory committee. It's not a supervisory committee. It's spelled out in the text that it is an advisory committee, and it's not the place of a councilman to try to micromanage any department or department head. I think they should have a relationship with all the city employees, visit with them, talk with them, communicate with them. But if there's a problem, then they should be addressed through the department head and the mayor.
I agree that the role of a councilman is to be the liaison between the people and the city, to be that person that's out in the community. I feel like the councilman should be out in the community, doing things in the community, being seen in the community. I do not feel that a councilman should micromanage. That is why you have department heads in place. If there's a breakdown with department heads, then that person that's over that committee needs to not micromanage, but needs to have concern and look at that, so that there is not a breakdown in that department, in that particular department of the city. I just feel like that a councilman should be, you the people put the councilman in a seat, and I feel like we should be subject to you guys.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. I think the role of a councilman would be just a spokesperson for the people, and to get out and really get to know everybody as much as you can, because there's a lot of people who live in the city. But stay active with everybody, and offer any kind of guidance with any of the departments, whether it be just, talking with them, or, hearing their problems, or just anything that could maybe be brought up in a council meeting or anything, but just show support and really help out as much as you can, when you can, and where you can.
I agree with these other people. I feel like that the council member is a liaison. They are your voice to the rest of the council and to the other leaders. I do not believe in micromanaging at all. I don't know about you guys, but I have a job. I don't have time to micromanage, and I think that's where a strong leadership and a mayor should come in. Excuse me. I do think that it's very important that we have consistent policies in place, and that they are, people are held accountable by those policies. And if at some point there is a need of help, let's say someone is having trouble with their leadership skills and things like that, I think that's when we step in and try to mentor those people and try to help them and make them better leaders.
Personally, as far as being, if I was elected to council, you have such a diversified bunch of people that have come from many different backgrounds. We have people in law enforcement, people in communications, as well as retail, that could be elected to the council and help make decisions. So I personally feel like that, if you are a spokesman for the people of the city of Fort Payne, and if something you can't do, you can always go to the council members that have more experience in that area. So yes, you are a representative of the people. As far as micromanaging, that's kind of like being on a board of directors of a hospital telling a brain surgeon how to do his job. You've got trained professionals, department heads, and everything else that do their job. You let them do their job and let them oversee, because a lot of times you get in there and things that you want to happen can't happen because you don't know the protocol, the way things are supposed to be done. And that's why you have people in place, and that's why you hire good people to do these particular type jobs. So no, I'm not totally in favor one bit of micromanaging, and let people do their job and do it to the best of their ability.
I think the council committees have been good. You've got a chairman and co-chairman on each department that's kind of for your department heads to work with. I know I'm chairman of Public Works, Randall's on that. We have to get with Tim, you know, he comes up with a paving list, and what you do, you call in and say, would you look at our road? And then we go and look at the roads and try to prioritize by what needs to be fixed first. The committee and the mayor. And, you know, I don't believe in micromanaging, but I think we're there for guidance, and, you know, and some of them want guidance. You know, they're afraid to make the decision without somebody kind of helping them decide. And, you know, 2 or 3 heads is better than one a lot of times. Thank you.
I think the role of a council member should be a leader. I believe they should have integrity, but I don't think they should micromanage. I think that there's a person in each department that has that role, and they've been put there for a reason because they know the job. I think that we need to be willing to listen, maybe give some guidance, and give our opinion, but I don't think that we should try to control them. I think that they were put there for a reason, and we were put in our position for a reason. So I don't think that we should try to overcome their job just like they shouldn't overcome ours. I think that we should be able to listen and maybe compromise and see what's best for that management that needs to be done.
Yeah, the role of the council member pertaining to the department heads is, yes, we are a liaison between that department head and the rest of the council and the mayor. We're also the liaison between the public and that department head. If your sewer stops up, you're probably not going to call Tim. You're probably going to call one of us. And that's where we would come into play and be in the middle person to get that information to him or to whatever department the problem's in. So there's definitely a communication network there that I feel is very, very important so that you, as citizens, can get your concerns and your issues and your problems to the correct departments. Micromanaging, if we're doing our jobs and we're hiring the right people, there's no need for it. We've got to make sure that we're hiring quality people who are leaders and who can make decisions on their own. Now, like Johnny said, sometimes 2 heads are better than one, and it's not uncommon for a department head to have an issue where they want to bounce it off of you. And I think that's very helpful too. So micromanaging, absolutely not.
A lot of you don't know me, but those of you that do know that I spent nearly 30 years working for the city. I retired as the fire chief, so I've got a really good knowledge of council, department head, working relationship. I had the luxury of several years of working with Walter and Johnny, and Walter was my commissioner at one time. And I can honestly say he never told me to do anything, nor did Johnny. I never had that problem. They hired me to do a job, and I did it. And that's what I assume that we as a council, if we get elected, will do the same thing. One of the first functions of the new city council is to appoint certain department heads to do that job. Delegate it out, let them do the job. They in turn will put the people in place to do what they need to do, and you need to stay out of the business. You can go talk to them when you need to. They're going to come to you when you need to. The one thing I would like to see reinstituted is regular staff meetings. We had that for years. We had Tuesday council meetings, but Tuesday we didn't have a council meeting. The department heads all met with the mayor at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and we would go a couple hours, and every department head got to have their say, and we all learned to work together better as a group. That's something I think would be important. But as far as micromanaging, that's the last thing in the world you need to do.
Okay. That's the last of our questions. Now I'm going to let each candidate, they'll have a minute apiece to just address the audience. We'll start with Brian, and we'll just go, you're the lucky one.
First off, I want to say thanks, Trish and Times Journal, for putting this forum on. And thank you guys for coming out and being a part of it. It shows that you're interested in your city, and you need to get to know your candidates. That way you can make a better informed decision when you go to vote. I just want to say I love Fort Payne, born and raised here, been here all my life. I've had the privilege of working with several boards here in Fort Payne, several organizations here in Fort Payne. A lot of faces here I know. And I hope you know me. I hope you know my heart. I'm here to serve. I'm here to be your voice. I want to be what you need and what Fort Payne needs. One thing that I do ask you is please go out and vote. Tell your friends, go out and vote. That's your right and that's your duty to go out and vote. Most of all, I want to say, really consider praying about your vote. Seek God's advice, and He'll let you know who you need to vote for.
Well, I want to thank everybody too for coming out and really showing support. This is a very nerve-wracking thing for me. I don't speak in front of the public ever, so I'm not a politician either. So I just I work hard all the time, and I have 2 jobs. So I get out and I like to do hands-on things as well. But I would, encourage you to all go and vote. Maybe me, so I'm just doing the best I can at the speeches and stuff, and I want to learn, and I'm real ambitious and real driven to learn new things and to experience a lot of different stuff. So I really would like the opportunity to serve as your councilman and really give it my best shot, and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to thank the Times-Journal and thank all of you for being interested enough in your city to come here. I'm just a hometown girl. I've lived here most of my life. I grew up working in a small business here. If any of you ever ate a bonanza burger, that came from my family. And so I was ingrained with working in small business from the time I was probably about 5 years old. And I think that I do have somewhat of some unique experience in that I have worked with small business and also industry. I worked with Ferguson Enterprises, one of the largest companies that came in first to Fort Payne, and try to help work through them with Jimmy Durham to get other industries here and to show up our facility at Ferguson and to get other industries here. And I just have a heart for Fort Payne. I'm a doer. I'm kind of like Freddie said, I'm a doer. And I hope that you've seen some of the things that we've been able to do through Main Street. And I know that's not the most important thing, but I do think it has been an important thing over the last year because it's created some excitement downtown and created a lot of interest in our city. And I just appreciate your vote.
I was born and raised in Fort Payne, and I've always taken pride in our town. As you know, places like Birmingham and everything else, this is one of the safest cities in this area that you could go to. As a matter of fact, if I broke down on the side of the road one night and I didn't have my cell phone with me, somebody that knew me would pick me up, take me where I have to be, and I wouldn't be afraid. That's one thing I want to keep Fort Payne safe. I want to keep Fort Payne a hometown feeling, make everybody feel welcome, where they know everybody. My family came here in 1953 when my father started a business here, and I've been here all my life, haven't left, been in radio and communications. And I would like to serve, because it's not just like being on the council, but you're on the city council. It's being a servant, making yourself available to the people, and I want to be able to do my best I can for everybody and listen to everybody and do what's best for the city of Fort Payne. Thank you.
First, I want to thank the Times-Journal for putting on the forum. I don't think none of us has thanked you yet, but I guess I'm the senior member on the council now, since Walter withdrew. I'm running this time, and we've got a lot of things going that I've been looking forward to for a lot of years now. Downtown is progressing. We've got 4 new businesses. We've got an expansion going on downtown. We're bringing in, Applebee's. We've got people looking at us all the time as far as industrial growth. I'm proud to be a part of bringing in Ferguson Children's Place, AP Plasma, and all these other businesses. We've done that because we all work together. We all love Fort Payne, and we don't need to lose sight of that. We're in one of the safest towns anywhere in Alabama. I think we're number 9 in a recent thing I've read. I want to thank the police department, I want to thank the fire department, all the public works and rec center. All of our employees have done a great job. They're part of it, but the people is what makes this place special. And if given the opportunity, I will announce now, if I happen to get reelected, this will be it for me. I'll hand it down to one of these other people. But thank you for letting me serve. Thank you for supporting me all this time.
I have been a businesswoman for 16 years in Fort Payne. I'm a disability case manager, and I help the disabled get income. I brought a lot of income into Fort Payne in my job, and I'll continue to do so. I won't just be a voice for them, but I want to be a voice for you. I will work hard to the best of my ability in any position that I'm in, and I promise to be forthright in every decision that I make. I will listen to you. I would like to hear all of your opinions, and I would like to be your voice. I think that I would love to see our city continue to thrive and become better and bigger. And I hope one day, I want this Fort Payne to be one of the city's top #1 city. I would love to see my daughter, when her husband retires from the Air Force, to come back here to live. So it is my duty and my pride to make this one of the best cities in not just the United States, but best city in Alabama that you can come to. Thank you. Not just to live and not just to visit.
I love this job. I would do it for nothing. I would do it for no pay. Because it's about dealing with the people, and that's the kind of person I am. Sometimes Lisa has to leave me standing in the grocery store talking to someone, and they'll apologize and say, well, I'm sorry for bothering you. And she'll say, he loves it, don't worry about it, I'll be back. And that's what it's about, though. It's about the people and getting down to the level where you can actually make people's lives better, where you can make our city better one person at a time. And that's what it's about for me. I love it, and the things that I love I'm passionate about. And any of you that know me know how passionate I am about serving this city and about seeing it grow and seeing it become even more of a special place than it already is. So pray about your vote. Pray about your vote. And I just pray that God will put it on your heart to vote for me. I have a servant's heart. I appreciate you all coming out. Thanks, Tricia, and the town chairman.
I've lived here all my life. I love this town. I love this county. And in 2011, we suffered one of the biggest tragedies ever come through here. I had to deal with that for several hours and several days, but I saw something that just solidified in me the fact that I live in the best place I could ever drop out in Fort Payne, DeKalb County in Alabama. The people of this town who dodged the destruction of the mountain came together and fed thousands of volunteers and people without homes for days and days and days. And I would never go anywhere else than where I live right now. And that's why I want my children to stay here and my grandchildren to stay here or come back here when they go off and do better. I've spent 38 years in public service, public safety, and I do that because that's what I feel my calling is. I've been in the fire service, I've been an EMT, I've been a fire chief, I've been a police officer, I now work for the district attorney. I've seen the good and I've seen the bad, but I tell you what, the good in Fort Payne far outweighs the bad any way you look at it. I've loved being on the city council. I've been to probably over 400 council meetings during my career with the city and over 200 commission meetings. I understand the workings of it. I understand what it takes to be a councilman, and I understand what it takes to be a councilman that will let the department heads do their job and take the will of the people to the city. We're on an upward trend. I want us to keep going that way. And, let's just make Fort Payne better. It's real darn good right now, but let's just make it better.
I likewise want to thank the Times-Journal for giving us this opportunity and all you people for coming out. This is the backbone of the city of Fort Payne, out here in the audience in front of us. People that take time to come out and listen and want to do what's best for their community, and I would pay a tribute to you guys for doing that. I can't promise you a lot of things. You know, politicians sometimes like to promise things. First off, I'm not a politician, but you know, I'll only be one person on a council of 5. And you know, I work for a unified council. A council together is pretty strong. We want to represent you, and I know most of these people feel the same way. But I can promise you that we will listen to what you want, what you need, and I will also represent you in every way that I possibly can. So all I can say wrapping up is, if you're ready for some different thoughts, some new ideas, and a new voice, then I ask you to vote for me on August 23rd, and echoing Brian and there you go, I went brain dead, Mr. Ham here. No, there's no better authority on who should have these positions than the good Lord himself, and I also implore you to call upon him.
I am applying for the job of city council. Put me in there, we'll see how it goes. It's really simple. In a business way, not in a political way, business. I like the business of it. I think it can be run like a very good business, be profitable. There's always a growth in profit. So give it a try and see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you, Times-Journal, for being here, and thank you everybody for coming in. It's a pretty good crowd out there, and none of us got hit with tomatoes tonight, so I figure that's pretty good. Yes. I've been here all my life. For y'all that do know me, I was a police officer here for over 10 years. Red knows this. I think, backed each other up a couple times as a state trooper. That was serving the public, and what got me more interested in was Andy's dad, Bob Parker, one of the best men I guess I could talk about. He helped guide me through life in my younger days. And well, he helped keep me straight, really, to tell you the truth. But I feel like that I can help Fort Payne go further, full-time, whatever needs to be done. I'd like to see more of the youth and the senior citizens come on, bring it to us, give us what you want, try to want, we'll try to give it to you. The one thing that I've done is, for the last 33 years, I've been in running restaurants. I was 15 years with Ryan's. I was a road supervisor for several years. I was over 52 stores. And that's pressure, let me tell you, it's pressure. And following that, I've been with Ryan's Western Sizzle now for 18 years, so I know a little bit about the business situation.
I also would like to thank the Times-Journal for being here. This is my home.